Before you take another step into prayer, you must. This millions of Muslims stand before Allah, confident they were already broken long before they raised their hands. Not because they ignore the rules, but because no one ever told them the hidden signs, the small slips, the quiet moments that silently erase purity without being seen or felt. It is possible to pray with the heart full of sincerity, tongue reciting, and still have salah never rise beyond ground because the foundation was never intact. If you think you know breaks of wudu, prepare yourself. You are about to hear me change the way you pray. You stand before your Creator for the rest of your life. Let us begin. Lesson 1. The smallest impurity can break many Muslims' major action: washroom into deep sleep. Islamic scholars explain much deeper truth. Even the tiniest amount of impurity exits from the private areas, no matter how small, unnoticed, instantly nullifies wudu. This is because wudu is not just a physical wash. It is a state of ritual purity. And ritual purity can be lost even through something small. Drop moments silently escape our attention. There are moments when a person stands up, down, and moves in a way that causes a small release of air and moisture. They do not fully notice. There are times when the body naturally responds due to temperature, health condition, and sudden movement. Many people assume that if they did not feel it strongly, it does not count. But in Islamic, certainty about anything exiting the private parts breaks, regardless of size and strength. This includes a tiny discharge, moisture caused by desire, a release of air that is certain, a small drop of urine that escapes without sensation. Any impurity that leaves the body from the front and back passages. These things may be invisible, light, and barely noticeable, yet they still invalidate wudu because they remove the state of ritual purity required for salah. This lesson is crucial. Many Muslims do not know it. They worship confidently, unaware something small already cancelled. Islam does not expect perfection but teaches awareness. This is why scholars believe to be mindful of their body, to check themselves, and to stay attentive without falling into paranoia unnecessary. Only about clean skin. It is about approaching Allah in the state possible. When a person washes themselves, they are not just removing dirt. They are symbolically washing away mistakes, distraction, and spiritual debt. The beginning of salah starts itself. So carefully, do not rush it. Do not ignore signs. If you are sure something, your connection to Allah deserves certainty, and your wudu is the foundation of both. Lesson on your breaks. When breaks, most people think only breaks when the body, something like the washroom, sleep. The other hidden rule many Muslims never learn. Your also breaks when your awareness breaks. Wudu is not only an act of washing. It is an act of conscious presence. It requires mind remains awake, aware, and connected. This is why scholars agree. Deep sleep, in which a person loses control over their body, no longer feels what is happening around them, breaks wudu immediately. The reason is simple. When the mind disconnects, the body may release impurities without the person realizing it. Awareness. Losing awareness loses the state. They are different levels of sleep and awareness, and it is important to understand them. Light sleep does not break if your mind still somewhat movement. This type of sleep does not break off sitting your back straight, drifting lightly during a lecture, your muscles. Deep sleep exception. This sleep the body relaxes completely, the head falls, the limbs loose, and you lose awareness of your surroundings. In this state, a person releases something, not noticing becomes invalid. Any moment consciousness disconnect. Not have to be sleeping. Losing balance, passing out, even extreme exhaustion, awareness, despair all break because the mind no longer guarding the state. Purification. Peace upon him today is like a container. If the lid, awareness, is removed, what is inside may come out. This is why awareness considered part of maintaining. Another mistake people make. Assuming closing the eyes, meditating, and relaxing deeply breaks wudu. This is not true. Yours breaks only if you lose awareness to the point you not happening around you. This lesson teaches powerful spiritual truth. Islam honors not just the outer action but the inner state. Your mind is part of your worship. Your awareness is part of yours. When you guard your conscious, you guard yours. When yours is protected, your salah so. Next time you drift to sleep, check yourself. Next time relax, alert to protect your state of purity. In Islam, not only physical. It is mental. It is spiritual. It is awareness. Guard awareness and your wudu will guard your prayer. Lesson 3. What leaves the body matters more than what enters it. One of the greatest sources of confusion for many Muslims. Understanding exactly what breaks and what does not. People ask, touching someone break? Does eating something break? What about coughing, sneezing, vomiting, and bleeding? To remove all confusion, scholars give one simple rule that answers almost every question. Something exits from the front and back passage breaks. Something enters the body does not break. This principle seems simple. Its clarity delineates things we touch, eat, and interact with. Every food, drink, clothing, surfaces, people, dust, and objects. None of them make wudu invalid. Why? Because they enter the body and remain on the outside. They do not leave the private areas and therefore they do not affect ritual. On the other hand, even the discharge front-back breaks instantly. Not matter if it is a drop, a tiny bubble of air, a moment of moisture, a small release caused by movement, illness, and heat. If it comes out, the state of purity is gone. This includes impurity that is seen, felt, and known with certainty. And it applies even if it is very small. This rule protects sense of purification because the private areas are the main source of ritual impurity in the body. Now consider this. Eating does not break wudu. Drinking does not break wudu. Touching someone does not break wudu. Even heavy foods and oily food do not break. You can cough, sneeze, sweat, and cry without affecting your wudu. These things may feel intense, but they do not disturb your state, spiritual cleanliness. They enter into the body and they are natural body reactions on the outside. But what leaves the body from the private areas, no matter how small, is what matters most. This is the reason why scholars focus so much on discharge, movement, and awareness, because those are the areas through which ritual purity is affected. Another point, not every type of minor bleeding breaks. Blood that comes from a cut, scratch, or small wound does not break wudu in most opinions. Vomiting also does not break wudu unless it is extreme and uncontrollable, depending on the school of thought. This once again highlights the central rule. Wudu is about guarding what exits from the most private areas, not about worrying over everything touches or enters the body. Understanding this brings peace. You no longer need to panic about food, sweat, touching, and small daily movements. You not to fear sneeze, stomach sound. Focus on truly matters the body it. This simple clarity will help you protect your soul confidence, avoid unnecessary doubts, and allow all a clean heart. Lesson 4. Ignoring doubts. To win. One of the most common mistakes Muslims make. Ignoring the small doubts about they feel something, and something. They push it hoping it washing they keep because they do not want pause break their flow of purification process. But this habitually, peace upon him, principle protection. This, if you are certain something came out of your body, yours breaks without question. Even if it was inopportune, even if it happened at the wrong time. Certainty cannot be ignored. If you only think something might have happened and you feel a light sensation without clarity, and you hear a sound without being sure whether it came from you, then you stay on the ruling of purity. Islam never burdens a person with imaginary thoughts or baseless assumptions. The balance. Remove if you are something slightly, then invalid. There is no and there is only reward for approaching Allah with certainties, not remove. Certainty. If you only suspect something but have no confirmation, your wudu remains valid. Do not fall into waswasa whispers. Do not torture yourself with overthinking your purity. Unfortunately, many Muslims do the opposite. They ignore the moment something truly happens and they panic over moments nothing happened at all. This leads to two major harms. With broken. A person have been certain release but ignore because they were embarrassed, tired, and unwilling to redo there. This can make the entire salah invalid even if the intention was. Pulling into unnecessary fear. Some people again and again because of baseless whispers. They fear every movement, every sensation, every tiny sound. This is not the teaching of Islam and it is not the spirit of purity. The true path is the middle path. Be honest with yourself without ignoring real signs, overthinking imaginary ones. One something he expects, found clarity. But when your practice heart becomes your mind becomes and your prayer becomes strong. In the just physical state, it is a state of honesty, commitment before Allah. Truth, clarity, and trust. Do not ignore certainty. Do not obey, follow the balance, and your prayer will be protected. Lesson 5. Wudu is not only broken by impurity, it is broken by negligence. Most Muslims focus only on the physical things break. Discharge, deep sleep, and anything exiting from the private area. But there is another side to that many believers neglect. It is not something that breaks the validity of in the technical sense, but it breaks the quality, spirit, and reward of wudu. and that is negligence. Wudu is an act of worship. It is not simply over the body, spiritual preparation to stand before Allah. Person performs carelessly, without intention, without attention, without completing its basic obligations properly. They have water on them, but they do not have the dedication. Negligence comes in several forms. 1. Rushing. Many people wash quickly, waiting the fully presence and dignity. Rushing through it removes quality, turns physical washing into an act of devotion to leaving dry areas on the body. This is one of the most common mistakes. Water must reach required parts, between the fingers, on the heels, around the elbows, across the face. The Prophet, peace upon him, dry on the toe to the point not reach they. Negligence. Washing correctly incomplete. Even if the person believes it was done. 3. Forgetting the intention in the heart, not spoken verbally, it must be present. Do done only as a routine without knowing why you are purifying yourself loses its spiritual value. The heart must know, I am doing this to stand before Allah and seek. Ignoring the sunnah actions. Perfecting the mouth thoroughly, cleaning the nose, washing each limb the right side, and performing the sequence, the basic requirement to source on the judgment. Neglecting then its beauty and its impact on the heart. 5. Performing presence. In to wash even the heart and prepare the soul. If the mind is distracted, thinking about work, conversation, and worldly tasks, the heart receives little benefit. The body becomes clean, but the inner state remains heavy. This is why some people complete their still enter salah feeling unfocused, restless, and distant. They presence their depth. Islam's door to prayer. If the door weak, the foundation of salah becomes weak. Negligence not always break in the legal sense, but it breaks spiritual power, its light, and its ability to prepare you for standing in front of Allah. So protect with the same seriousness they protect the salah. They perform it with intention, awareness, with respect. They complete limb, follow the prophetic order, and allow each drop of water to purify not just the skin but the heart. Your wudu is the beginning of your prayer. When you honor it, your salah becomes more alive. When you rush it, your prayer becomes unstable. Guard your wudu from impurity, guard it negligence. Allah your heart during you. You have heard most Muslims are never taught the knowledge hidden, but because we assume already how to purity something to assume it is something to guard and honor. Yours is the door where salah, if the door weak the prayer lose its strength. If the foundation shake the building stand. So protect awareness, pay attention to the small releases, the moments of deep sleep, the signs your body gives you, and the intention your heart holds. Do not rush your purification. Do not ignore certainty. Do not let negligence rob your prayer of its value. Because every drop of water you place on your body is a witness for you on the day of judgment. A living reminder you are preparing to stand before the King of creation. Moment of consciousness you maintain sign of your sincerity. If this opens your eyes, if it you something new, remind you something you had forgotten, then do not keep it to yourself. Share it with others so they too can protect their salah, their purity, and their connection with Allah. And before you leave, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications because the next reminder may be the one that transforms your worship forever.